But if you really want to stretch the money,
I would rather die than be poor.
hey, relax. Now you're going too far.
Not that I'm poor. I'm just saying.
I know you're not. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah, like I'd rather just die.
that a lot of people
Rather
do.
just
I
die
don't
than be
think that's a
poor.
good, way to go. But
What?
to die, to be poor, you can get
Bro,
rich again.
okay, so not to like take this like non-serious conversation to a serious conversation, but this lady on the way here, I saw this lady was homeless.
Yeah.
And she was living with her kids in the car, and 2 of her kids died of like they froze to death.
Hypothermia, yeah.
Yeah. So who wants to live like that? Like
I
I'd
mean,
rather just be dead at that point because you're a piece. You know what I mean? Like
if you got to live in
you
your
have
kids,
4 kids.
4 of them?
She had 4 kids, and she was living with her sibling, all in a car. You should stop having kids.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
before, after one, like stop.
It should be a like a
like a-
money restriction on people having kids.
For sure.
Like
Because I
China.
have 1 kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not even close to poor. Because I don't even know what poor is. But to me, poor is like anything under 100,000, you're poor.
Nope, guess we're poor.
I guess so. For sure, I think there gotta be a limit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making this much for like 5 years, this is your 5-year history of what you've been making. This is how much you make. You should be allowed to have maybe 1 kid, 2 kids. If you're making more than that, and the government gotta give you some help, yeah, you're not allowed to have no more kids.
Isn't it in China you only can have 2?
Yeah, 2 or 1 or 2.
I think it's 2.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it should be the same thing over here. Because when you just have too much people, a lot of fuck shit that happens.
So what happens if they get pregnant?
Then they should go to jail or something like that.
I mean, so what happens to the baby? Do they have an abortion or?
Abortion should be a choice. If a female wants to have it, that's up to her.
Mm.
But
before that,
should
before
be a
even
limit.
getting to that, you should be responsible
that's
and
what
keep your legs closed or make sure that shit's wrapped
But
up.
that's the problem. There's people they are not responsible.
A lot of people,
A lot of people they're not responsible.
unfortunately.
Exactly. There's people that are, and they have 1 or 2.
And that goes back to, remember that video we watched? That lady was like freaking out because she was losing her food stamps.
Yeah.
She has all of these kids. Like, that's not the government's fault that you decided to have 6 kids or however many kids she had. I think she had like at least 4 or 5. Like,
And I bet you have a brand new car in her garage.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same video or if it's another one, but this lady was saying, I read this the other day, I meant to tell you.
You know who's paying for that?
The government. What? Paying for what?
Paying for her to have
We are.
multiple kids. Exactly.
Yeah. But this lady, she was on social media ranting that she was losing her $4,000 in food stamps because she I don't know how they found out, but she's driving a 2024 Beamer.
Damn.
And she was getting $4,000 in food stamps, and now I guess they dropped it down to like $96 or $196, something low.
Damn.
No, it can't be that low. I think it was like 196, something like that. But yeah, she's driving a 2024 Beamer BMW.
And then there's people here having a kid or 2 working that, getting help from the government, driving a fucking Acura.
Yeah.
Or a Honda.
I remember when I was growing up, my mom raised, at the time it was 4 of us, but she raised all 5 of us by herself pretty much. And I remember she tried to get food stamps multiple times, and she didn't qualify. She said it's basically the working poor.
Because she got a normal job.
Well, she was working overtime. But the only reason why my mom's been with Kroger's for a long time, and I mean, she was, thank God the company knew about her situation, and she had the opportunity to get overtime, but that overtime, it barely, paid the bills. So yeah, she never got approved for them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she said it's called the working poor.
The working poor.
The working poor.
So if you work, you don't get no help at all. But if you don't work, you get help.
Exactly.
That make no sense.
It makes no sense. And that's why they're saying now that even if you are working, you still can apply for food stamps.
See, now,
As
now
long
it's
as you're
different.
working at least 20 hours. But I mean, I think there's more to it. So people don't go out there and only get a job for 20 hours for food stamps. But food stamps is a supplement. It is not something that's supposed to, fund your whole entire grocery list. Like it's supposed to help you.
For a while.
Yeah.
For
So
the rest of your life.
yeah, it's like a percentage. Like the government puts their percentage in to help you, and then you're supposed to do your part, to fulfill the other portion.
So those people, a lot of people understand it like this. Like, I'm working, I'm paying taxes. I'm not getting no help from the government. But then I got to support you having multiple kids.
Right. Like,
Yeah, that makes no sense.
no, I wasn't there. I didn't create them.
I didn't hold that dick, put it in there. No.
I wasn't there,
for you.
So why do we have to? But that's one thing Trump, like, he's cutting. Like, it's basically fraud.
Yeah, for sure.
$4,000 in food stamps, though? They probably be eating T-bone steaks and filet mignon and big-ass lobster tails and $4,000 a month. That's a lot of money.
They are eating good.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Even if you have 4 kids, that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of food stamps.
She can just, out of the 4,000, she can just sell 2,000.
Literally.
Just pay her rent. Just leave off the government. That's it.
Mm-hmm. People.
Oh, that's drastic.
In the bank. No, that's how I feel.
In the bank?
Yeah.
100,000 liquid.
If you don't have 100,000, you're poor.
And money coming in.
And money coming in. Right? So,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if you're living in your car or you're on set, whatever your situation, if you're not making money, like you should stop having kids. I have one kid. I'm like, okay, this is very stressful. Like slowing down my income. Like I don't want no more kids.
Shouldn't be.
Unless somebody's giving me $5 million to have their baby, I'm not having any more kids.
Hey, I feel you on that. Like
I don't want any more kids.
Be, like I said,
It's expensive.
You shouldn't be if you ain't got no money.
You shouldn't
unless you for money. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
One or the other. But if you just broke and just out here just like
what's the point?
Having kids and all that, that should be against the law.
Against the law.
Then why are you doing that? We got to pay for our taxpayers. Got to pay for that. Like because you're not going to be able to sustain this life. Like how
this is supposed to, because that's literally what's going on right now. Like if you ejaculate in a female and get her pregnant, you're going to jail. You're getting fined. If you have no intent in having a family with that girl, you're fucked.
I think that's good.
Yeah, like shit.
You gotta, at the end of the day, you have to be responsible. Because there's a lot of fatherless kids just out there.
Or there's a lot of orphan children. Man. Like I can't even imagine. Like it's sad. So it's like people are so against abortions. Okay, so if people are against abortions, then what else can we do? Okay.
Make rules like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you ejaculate in the person,
get her pregnant,
go to jail, buddy.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know how they're gonna find out if they ejaculate in a female and she doesn't get pregnant unless it's she end up getting pregnant and then
that make no sense. The government they're just gonna think you're supposed to go over there and stitch on yourself. Hey,
right. Hey. They're gonna get the turkey baster out and like let me test this DNA. Yeah.
You just ejaculated her.
Oh my god.
I'm going now.
No, why would he snitch on himself? The female would be like, this guy just ejaculated in me last night.
But the female gotta have proof.
So I say get the turkey baster out. Get the DNA.
Hey, he ejaculated. You want proof?
You know when you come inside a female that stays in like your DNA stays in them for 7 years.
7 years?
7 years. So whoever you fucked 7 years ago, you can go to the doctor right now and they can go.
So a guy is gonna be unforgettable for 7 years.
For 7 years. Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
hey, 7 years.
yeah, it's not that. It's just your DNA is inside of them for 7 years.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, yeah. So female you fucked 7 years ago, they could go back, go to the doctor and they
So
can.
just bring that back, being the opposite, we can just soap and water in.
Hmm?
Your DNA is gonna be gone.
I mean, I don't know about the men because we don't ejaculate in you like you guys actually
Yeah, but
ejaculate in us.
y'all go through like a period process where stuff in there just comes out.
Yeah, okay.
So then that DNA don't just come out.
No, don't work like that. I'm actually gonna look more into that because I don't know like the full details. I do know for a fact that that's what I read. I'm gonna look more into that, but that's crazy. 7 years.
I forgot about you. No, you haven't.
7
Still got 5 more years to go.
years.
Dare you
But
have a
it's
kid and
for-
you're poor.
It's fucked up to the kids.
Right.
Like, why do they have to fucking freeze to death in a car and die?
And
Because
then
you're
Right,
fucking
exactly.
irresponsible. Like,
and
they
then
should
you
be
poor,
illegal.
having kids, and then they gonna grow up poor and have some kids. You're gonna make
Right.
a whole cycle of
That's why when my dad said the other day, I said thank you for like dinner, whatever he did, and he said thank you for being my daughter. I'm like, I told you, like I didn't ask to be here. You and mommy decided to create me, so I don't know. Am I supposed to say you're welcome?
Right.
Right.
we gotta stop it somewhere.
Right. So people need to stop having kids. Unless you're rich, you shouldn't have kids.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I never thought about
Yep.
no kids. Like I had
I honestly never did either. And then people
agree
start,
with
once I got into my 30s, people were like, oh, so you're not going to have kids? And I'm like,
Not everybody's gonna be rich. I feel like if you have a stable job and you can, keep a roof over your head, provide for yourself.
I mean,
then-
that money amount, just saying, I don't think that's right.
Mm-mm.
Because there's people still making what, like 50 something a year. They living good.
Mm-hmm.
They might be way happier than her ass. So her putting that amount, I think that's wrong. But if you can afford to have a kid, you should be allowed to have a kid.
It's
But there's-
never it's financially you're never financially going to be ready to have a kid. Doesn't matter if you're a millionaire because it goes for saying that you could sit here and be unhappy being broke. You could sit here and be unhappy being the richest person in the world because it's like when you have a lot of money, you are obviously spending that money on more expensive things.
That doesn't mean you're happy.
Right. So that I mean, as long as if you like I said, if you have a job, you have a roof over your head, and you can take care of yourself, and then then you can go ahead and have kids.
You could be making
But don't have a
30,
Brady Bunch.
40, 50,000 a year.
Yeah, it depends how you manage your money.
Exactly.
But for you to sit here and say if you're not rich, you shouldn't have kids, like
No,
no, God
that's-
put us on this
that's
earth
different.
to be in a relationship and create kids
Procreate.
and have a family. But if you're broke, how are you going to take care of yourself? You can't even take care of yourself. How are you going to take care of another human being?
If you're broke, if you don't know where, if you don't know at what time you're gonna eat, how you gonna get money?
Or
So
where you're
we're
going to
talking
be
about
putting your
that
head
bro-
down?
Yeah, we're talking about that broke.
Yeah.
That's the
shouldn't
broke we're
have
talking
kids.
about. Yeah, you should not have. You should not be have kids.
Yeah.
That's being irresponsible for you to bring a kid. What you wanna eat? Here. You want here. If you
Or if
cannot
you're
do that,
lazy.
you should not be having kids.
Or if you're lazy and you don't want to get a job and
That's the thing. Broke people are lazy
yeah. That
because
they
they
just
not
won't live
putting
off
in the
government.
work.
Yeah. What they're doing is putting the work in on their fingers, filling out that unemployment or
Exactly.
food stamp
If
application.
you're getting help from the government and you broke and you live off the government, you should not be having kids.
Yeah.
Period.
Could you imagine if everyone that was on that had food stamps and getting help from the government, if everyone would, and I understand there are people out there that physically can't work. There's like a percentage. I understand that, but for those that are getting government assistance, if they would just put the effort in to get a job, and still applied, you're not going to be getting $4,000 a month, but you're still going to get a little bit to help supplement because, you know, the egg prices, like food is expensive. Just living nowadays is expensive. So if everybody would just get a job and then everybody could get like a small portion of help from the government. But no, there's people out there taking advantage of the system.
If you get a job, you're paying taxes. So those same taxes are going towards your food stamp for you to.
Exactly.
So it's, well,
but instead of
if you're
just,
not
you
just
know,
working, period, yeah, you should not get no help from the government at all. You
Like-
gotta at least put in some work.
exactly.
Don't just be fucking lazy, getting fat and that. Nah. Take your fat ass to do 20 hours, put in the work, make money for you, pay taxes. Those taxes are coming back as food stamp. And like that. Just keep that money just going. If the money is going, everybody's happy. Now there's people that are working, they're not getting help from the government. Now those taxes can go somewhere else. But
Because
not,
these
but
people
not
out
your
here
fat
that are,
ass.
these people are out here that are abusing the system. They're the ones that, excuse me, they're the ones that are making it hard for people that are actually trying to do what's right. They're making it hard for them to actually get help, the help that they need.
Exactly. And
All
there's
right,
some
we're
people
kinda getting off
that
topic.
and there's some people that actually that get help from the government for a while, and then they just move on and they stop getting help, but they get to a better place, so they
'Cause they don't
use
need it.
that help.
hmm
And just move
They
on.
use that as like a stepping stone,
and
hoping to
move
get to
on.
where they need to
Exactly. That's how it gotta be. That's
be. That's how it should be. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think about that. Like, maybe not. They're like, you're sure you don't want to have kids? You're going to regret it. I'm like,
Yeah.
you think I'm going to regret it? I don't know. You know, I was like talking to myself and I
Right.
was like, well, I do have a lot of money.
She's such
Yeah.
a nonchalant person.
Maybe. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can't get pregnant, right? But then I got pregnant. I was like, oh, this is from God. You know,
Right.
I'm thinking like, okay, like
It's
this
meant to
is
be.
from God and it's meant to be. And now that I'm in the experience, I'm like, oh, I should have thought this a little bit through. Like, I love my son. He's my baby. You know what I mean? Like, he's everything to me. But I don't want no more.
Yeah.
Like, even if, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want no more.
Yeah. And it's
And
just
even if
people
you're
got too much
rich,
information.
even if you're rich, you pay nannies to
Right.
raise your kids, which the kids are going to. I was raised by a nanny.
Right.
So I know, because I'm a product of that the kids are going to grow up to fucking hate you. When a
She grew
nanny
up with a
raises
silver
you
spoon
and
in her
treats you
mouth.
better than your parents treat you,
why she's acting
you
this way.
hate your parents.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
That's-
You're like,
that's-
I remember when I was 12 years old, my nanny Sheila, she had a heart attack on my birthday, and she had to get taken to the hospital. And when I came home from school, my
So if you grow up poor, it's bad. Too rich is bad. It's like you never know.
mom was in the kitchen cooking. I'm sorry, Mom, but this is a true story. My mom was in the kitchen cooking, and I was like, where's Sheila? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you.
Right.
Like, I don't want you. I didn't want her. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wanted my nanny because whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know that kids that get raised by nannies, even though it's easier for the parents, like, your kids are
That's
going to
what
hate
she's
you.
used
So
to.
what's the point? If your kids are going to hate you anyway,
Yeah.
what's the point of, like, bringing them just to get raised by nannies?
Yeah, it's difficult. You got to have that balance because, you know, and it has to be two
parents.
Yeah, because that
Gotta have-
raises the best kids and it's the best options for them.
Because I'm thinking, like, when my son's like 8 or 9, I'm giving him to his dad.
Right.
8 or 9 or 10, like, you got to raise him. Because I don't think I can raise a man.
Yeah, but at the same time, that would help a lot to have that dad there, even though he's there, to be with him. But both together makes the perfect, you know what I'm saying,
way better.
outcome.
Because
got a
it's
good
like
point.
balance,
Yes.
yin and yang. You know, like, because you can't have too strict.
Yeah.
Or like too like push over like love. Because my son, like, even at 4 years old, like, he knows, like, I'm not.
Pushover.
Yeah, I'm a pushover. Like, his dad, he's like, he's scared. He sees me, just on me.
Yeah.
At 4 years old.
Yeah, that's wild. That's why that balance having both there is ultra important.
And so,
It makes a world of difference. You know what I mean?
and I think it's hard for people to stay together at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Like anybody.
Yeah, most should not have no kids unless you're married. And don't get it, Mr. Scrooter. I grew up in a poor household. My mom had a lot of kids too, but that was back in the 80s and all that. You didn't know no better.
Right.
This 2025.
Right.
Y'all know better.
Yeah.
All this information is out here, how to raise kids and how the households go, statistics of having 2 people household and this. You all the information out here to make sure you do it the right way, and y'all still doing that. It should be a law. Trump, get it together, brother. I know you got all
that
these other
should
laws.
be a law, like how China has one kid per household. We need that here.
Yeah.
Because these bitches are having one kid after another after another. I'm just like, why are you doing that? Why would you want to suffer like this?
And it wasn't no plan. Like it should. If you have a human on this earth, it should be a plan, and some understanding what you're doing, not just doing it for no reason.
Yeah, there's people out here that like want like a Brady Bunch. Literally, like they want like 12 kids. I'm like, for what? I would never want 12 kids. No.
From those 12, at least 9, they're gonna grow up with no love. You cannot just give love to everybody and treat everybody the same. No.
Yeah, that's
Having 3 is different, and they're still gonna be like, "Oh, my father loved him the most." Imagine having 12.
Parent always
6,
has their favorite.
5. No.
Parents always have their favorites.
Yeah, they always do, and they kind of show it low key. But what can you do?
Surprises. 99% of y'all was accidents and surprises. I'm sorry to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? Your mama was crying and about to off herself when she found out she's having you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't act like, oh, what a blessing. Yeah, that was about when you got about 4, when he could realize, hear you crying in the room about having them. Now you're like, hey, this is my blessing. No, it wasn't. So if you ain't gonna have it the right way, don't have them. That's how I feel. I ain't did it, so I'm an example of that.
Yeah, you're smart.
Yeah, so it worked out good for me.
But even for the men, it's different. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to really deal with the kids. Like the mom is the one who deals with the kids.
Yeah, I said that before, like, because they always compare, like, the difference between when a guy have a lot of girls and having sex with a lot of women besides a woman, right? Because, and it's a sad truth, but it's true. Even if I did have a kid with a woman, I can still really leave your mother. You still really stuck with that kid.
You're stuck.
And then you don't know who the daddy is and all that. That's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of demographics to this embarrassment. I don't matter to me. I can leave.
Yeah.
Right.
You pay some money. What to do? Here's some money. What that doing in my life? Nothing gonna change, and I ain't gotta talk about it.
Nothing.
You got a kid? No, it's like all the time.
I know.
But you gotta stick with that kid, even if you know what I'm saying, try to act like, you know what I'm saying, foster care. Your body still had it. You might be like, damn, what happened to your stomach there? Nah, something happened. You had a kid, girl. You know what I'm saying? Your body let the world know.
Nah, not all the time.
Most of the time, it be a little different.
A little different.
Yeah, sometimes you get towed up. I done see some women have some kids like, damn, that kid did that to you. God bless you.
Yeah, thank God nothing really. Like I gained a little bit of weight, but I didn't really. You can't tell.
Like,
because I didn't.
You saw what we were watching, the Erica Mena show yesterday. We were watching. Did you see her stomach?
Yeah.
Had all this it's because she had 2 kids. So that's what he's saying, that like if you know if the female goes with another man and the man looks at their body, I mean the stretch marks and stuff are gonna tell like, oh, you had a kid. So with the man, nothing changes on y'all. Literally nothing. So a female would never know that you have kids unless you told them.
Plus
when they find out.
9 months with that little person inside of you.
Your skin stretches.
We don't go through none of that.
Yeah.
So it's way easier for us to just bye. Yeah. It's sad truth.
Even though I didn't vaginally give birth.
You got the C-section?
Yeah, but my scar is like this big.
They got you for that extra 10,000. They be just forcing that upon people.
30,000.
30, my bad. See that? They be getting new boats on C-section. You know that? They, almost all black women, when they have babies, they be doing C-sections.
Yeah, so but she has that mark under her on her stomach.
Since she got money, that's small. That's what you just said. Oh, yeah, that's small.
How's it that small?
She paid 30,000.
How I never knew you could do that. Like
she said she paid 30,000.
How do you unless you got like a laser treatment or something, but how do you pop a baby out of an incision this small?
Laser treatment. Yeah.
I'm about to look that up because she must have had a procedure done to cover it.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Okay.
Because she said she paid 30,000.
Yeah, because she's got the money.
Poor person you think is gonna pay 30,000?
They don't have it.
So she got money. So she talking from having money perspective.
Yeah.
She's not talking being poor perspective.
Yeah.
They run that bill up on.
They told, first of all, when I looked up what it looks like to have a baby,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then when my doctor was like, oh, you got a big ass baby and you're small.
Right.
So that shit ain't gonna fit.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And then when I saw the video of like a human coming out of your, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah, you give them extra 30 bands. They be wanting
I
that.
didn't give him shit. My insurance gave it to
I
me.
know, that's a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even that is a business. Like, that's all propaganda to run up the bill up on people.
Yeah, but do you know what people go through? Like women
Yeah,
go
I've
through.
seen it.
They
Yeah.
have to push. It takes
Oh.
hours. It's painful.
Yeah, it's no joke. It's
yeah,
no
I
joke.
don't want to go through that.
But they say, like, I don't know if I'm
got
right.
money.
Somewhere around 6
You have the
out of
option
10 or 7 out
to
of 10
go
of
there.
them, like she
Go
says,
through it.
really wasn't necessary.
Question
They really
is
just
to
ran
go
it
through
back
it.
up. Hospitals,
Yeah.
is a business. Doctors,
For
that's
sure.
their business. Most of them own, you know what I'm saying, ERs and things like that. You know, you got to know that. Like, I know a doctor, you own 2 urgent cares. For
Yeah, I
real.
mean it's a big deal. They cut your stomach in half.
Right.
If you got money like that, can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And she looked like she come from
I mean, she had a
Good
nanny,
money.
so and the way she's acting, the way she's talking,
Yeah.
she's kind of looking down on everybody else, which is
Yeah.
I don't like that. But yeah, she definitely, if she didn't grow up with the silver spoon in her mouth and the nanny and the money and stuff, she, I
She
feel
would
like
be
her
more
view would be a little bit
understandable
different.
and-
Yeah, she would be a little bit more humble.
If you're not making
100,000.
you're poor, and you don't have money coming in, you're poor.
Which I mean, go ahead. Yeah,
Not really. There's
But
people
shit.
making what 30, 40. They're living good.
I mean
They're happy.
that's still struggling right nowadays, and food
I mean,
nowadays.
if you live on
$30,000.
a trailer park, paying like what 500
I
to
don't know how
something
much
a
they pay
month,
out there.
money coming in, some little help from the government, you got it. You living life.
I guess.
Maybe you got some property from your parent, they dead. Left you
Yeah.
some property.
I mean, that's different.
You just gotta work to kind of pay some bills. You might be making what 30,000 a year.
But that's different. I'm talking about those that have a mortgage or they have to pay rent.
But coming like to reality, like like in general, if you want to have a kid, you gotta be able to support your kid.
Yeah.
Roof, food, whatever they need. If you're not making money, you should not be having a kid.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you should not be waiting and looking for the government to help you.
Right.
If that's the case, you should not be having kids.
And there's people out here that are literally popping out kids just to live off of the government.
Then there was something back in the days that the more kids you have, the more help you're gonna get.
It is.
But
There's
but-
this girl that I went to school with.
But that was back then. Nowadays,
Nah, there are still people out there that have kids to stay on Medicaid. I went to school with this girl and she had like two or three kids, and she said she was having another one just so she can get more government help. It's so sad. Now these kids have to be brought into this world, not by choice, and now they have to suffer because
I
of.
mean, it's kind of a choice. The man chose to have them
No, I'm saying the child.
for a paycheck. Oh yeah,
Child didn't have a choice
Yeah.
to be in this world, and now they have to sit here and live this government life and potentially
being
struggle.
poor,
Yeah.
struggling, going through some stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
just repeating the cycle.
Yep.
Repeating the cycle.